Hi there! As promised, with Chaos Unleashed, here's another Gunsmoke team guide for a quick auto setup and a step-by-step instruction to follow along. I'm using this formation because I have a strong V6 Nikketa as a support on my platoon, whereas there's no such Chihuahua. You may do just as well with the mono burn team if that works better with your roster or support options. I'm saving Tololo for the other team, which mixes corrosion and hydro characters, since that lineup will benefit more from her buff removal. All of these decisions are account specific, so make your adjustments as needed. Today's stage buffs are bad. The only usable option for this team is the medium penetration, which only works for QJ and Sharkry, but it is what it is. Don't be too disheartened if you cannot kill the boss this season. The remolding system releases only with the next patch, so until then, we free to play and low spenders will look like plebs. My QJ is V5 using an uncalibrated golden melody. Her fixed keys grant buff removal with her support actions, 3 confectance points at the start of battle, and the 30% defense reduction debuff. She uses Vector's common key for the attack bonus, her own key for out of turn bonus damage, and a triple stat key. Vector's V1 using Svarog. Her fixed keys grant her action support, additional fixed damage for active attacks, and buff removal. Her common keys simply give triple stats. Sharkry is V6 using an uncalibrated Planeta. Her fixed keys grant her action support, Blazing Assault when a target has overburn, and 3 confectance points at the start of battle. She uses a triple stat key, her own common key, as well as Tololo's key for bonus damage when her confectance index is not full. Springfield is V1 using her signature weapon. She uses her fixed key for buff removal and bonus defense when Taris is on the field. The other keys don't matter. Make sure to bring Kolfner's key Fabricated Life for the debuff cleansing, since Springfield is our only cleanser on the team. Everyone except for the support doll uses Phase Strike. The auto setup looks like this. QJ will use her ultimate every turn. Springfield will hopefully remove debuffs and apply attack buffs, and the rest of the sequence is simply in the order of each doll's damage contribution. Note that if you borrow a V6 Springfield and bring your own V0 Nikketa, you will have to manually use her S1 before hitting the auto button. Otherwise, she will mess up her rotation by chaining her S2 with her S1, rather than her ultimate. If you're using the same setup as here, hit auto and go make some coffee. Fortunately, Coolidge will stay in front of the boss, so it will always have a target for its S3. That way, it will never get the 30% bonus defense buff. Other than that, there's nothing worth noting. Jumping ahead to the end of turn 6, the team manages to reach the boss's 50% HP threshold, triggering its second shield. They don't manage to break it before the match ends, yielding a score of about 5.6k. The max score is about 7k points, so this autorun isn't too shabby if you ask me. By playing the fight manually, I only managed to score about 1k points higher. That said, let's move on to the manual attempt for those inclined to try harder. QJ starts with her ultimate every round. Springfield uses her triple ultimate rotation. If your Springfield is at least V2, she can use her ultimate and buff up Nikketa with her S2 on the first turn. Next, Vector starts with her ultimate to implant burn weakness, followed by her S2. If you have Chihuahua on the lineup, you should use her S1 instead, since then the boss will be affected by a burn debuff. Then, Sharkry follows with her double ultimate plus S2. She uses up her initial stack of zoom in with her first support action, so we double stack the buff every round before attacking. Nikketa concludes with her S2 and S1 to summon Coolidge. Note that I left a spot for Coolidge within Springfield's area, since the boss will target her with the warning tiles, and we cannot move Coolidge manually. In this formation, everyone is exactly 3 tiles away from the boss, so Nikketa, who is the support doll, takes priority for the boss's targeting. If you're borrowing a V6 Springfield instead, you may rather go with the dual carry setup, since Springfield doesn't benefit as much from the attack bonus. Positioning is also much less of a hassle then. On turn 2, I'm picking up the box on the right with QJ before moving in range of the boss's S2, indicated by the warning tiles, for the crit damage buff stacks. Springfield uses her S2 on Nikketa, triggering her extra action, which she can use to attack the boss with her S1. I delayed the S2 for herself to the next round for the first debuff cleanse. In hindsight, it might be better to use the S2 on Nikketa next round, because her extra action makes the debuff expire otherwise. Vector uses her S1, simply alternating her skills from now on. The same is true for Sharkry, who simply repeats the double ultimate, plus whichever skill is off cooldown, or a basic attack if nothing else is available. Nikketa picks up the box on the left and moves into warning tile range with her S2 plus ultimate combo. With this setup, everyone gets the buff, and the boss splits the attack buff from its S1 between Nikketa and QJ, who are the nearest and farthest targets respectively. Due to Coolidge, the boss hits a total of 6 targets with its S3, reducing its defense by 20% starting from the 3rd round. As previously mentioned, Springfield applies the S2 to herself on this round, granting the first stack of the crit damage buff. Since she is our only cleanser on the lineup, we will struggle to fully benefit from this boss mechanic. Note that I said in my boss guide that global cleanse works well, but as it turns out, you will still have to stagger the cleanses like with Nemertia, starting from this round. Vector's attack yields the 10th and final vulnerability stack on the boss for a total of 30% additional damage taken. As everyone makes their attacks, they move back into their equidistant positions. Note that instead of counting the tiles, you can simply align the characters diagonally. I'm ignoring the box on the top because it is too far out of reach, and honestly, it's just annoying to run around while maintaining the proper distance. If your Nikketa is not at least V1, you will have to alternate her S1 with her S2 plus ultimate combo. In that case, make sure you leave a spot for Coolidge's resummoning that is close to Springfield and with the correct distance to the boss. Or don't bother and just do a dual setup. On round 4, I noticed that the boss's S2 debuff is not tied to the round number, but rather to individual character turns. By having QJ start with her ultimate as usual, the debuff will fall off. Therefore, Springfield starts this time with her ultimate for the global cleanse. This grants a total of 5 crit damage stacks because Nikketa dropped the debuff on the previous round due to her extra action. I had assumed that the debuff would be round based just like the buff stacks, so learn from my mistakes. Speaking of, here I'm making another one by moving QJ out of the 5 tile range of the boss S3. I didn't realize this during my recording, but this will cost me 1 stack of the 10% defense debuff on the boss. Here you can see that the attack does not reach QJ. Since there are no do-overs in Gunsmoke, I'll have to live with this shame for your educational benefit. I hope you enjoy. On round 5, I'm trying to spread Springfield's S2 to get more crit damage stacks going. Everyone is assuming their evenly spaced positions once more, while Nikketa picks up the box on the left. I'm speeding things up since nothing new is happening. On round 6 I'm cleansing Vector for a crit damage stack, since the only other valid target would be Sharkry, who gains Blazing Assault by herself. On round 7 I'm walking Nikketa to the right for the box. The positioning doesn't matter anymore since Nikketa is out of counter attacks on the boss's turn. This leaves me with a score of about 6.5k. With my poor positioning that cost me the 10% defense reduction starting from round 5 and a few crit damage stacks lost along the way, the score could have been a little better perhaps, not to mention the underwhelming stage buff. If you want to try your luck, I suggest waiting for the 25% crit damage bonus against debuffed targets. That said, if you've watched until this point, let me know how your runs went. Maybe I'll put together a guide for the second team too, though the interest in this game seems lower than ever, and I think the gist of this fight should be clear by now. In any case, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.